I have to tell you, when I got a call from Tony, I was honored to get a call from Tony Finelli and asked if I would join this committee about 4 years ago. I thought, what a great idea to honor. I've always been very proud of my Italian heritages, and I've always been very proud of all Italian Americans who have succeeded in their careers. So this was a great avenue to honor their achievements. A few days later, a few days after Tony and I were speaking, I was at an event for a very good friend of mine, Mayor Joe Tamburino, who was receiving an award from another very good friend of mine, Mayor Richard Pellegrino. The award was called the Paca Award. Now, I was very embarrassed because I didn't know what the Paca Award was, or who William Paca was at the time. So I went home and I did what everyone else does. I Googled it, and I did find it. Oh boy, I found out. William Paca was one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. And in fact, there was two signers of Italian descent that signed the Declaration of Independence. They were Caesar Rodney and William Paca. Well, this started me looking into more Italian Americans, but from our generation. And yes, I did the same thing. I Googled it to find some of this information out. And let me give you a few names that will ring a bell with you, and names that we grew up with. Fred DeLuca, and I love this one, borrowed $1,000 at age 17 to start his restaurant, called Subway, now over 15,000 stores in 64 countries. Leandro Risotto, owner of Conair and Cuisinart, which is, as we all know, they make all kinds of kitchen appliances. Gino Paolucci, here's a guy that I used to read about, started a small Chinese food company called Chungking. From there he went on to owning magazine companies, Gino's Pizza, Lugino's Incorporated, with Lugino's also owns many other famous companies. Altore Bellardi, at 11 years old, was a chef's apprentice. But today we know his company as Chef Boyardee. Ed DiBartello started as a construction worker and ended up owning the largest real estate development company in the nation. These are just a few names, along with the great names we have here hanging in our room today. So I'm very proud of, as you see, there is a lot of Italian Americans that have made it in their careers. Which brings me back to this room that we are in. This brings me to the portraits on the walls, because there's another great name among us, a man that I can truly call a friend, and that is Don Bono. Don Bono is the artist who drew the portraits of these great men and women we honor in this room. Don is a true businessman at heart. Don had a very successful commercial real estate firm in Chicago, which he sold 15 years ago to follow another career path. But this career has always been his first love, and that is artistry. In 1975, Don designed a poster which he gave to the mayor, who proclaimed it the Chicago poster. This poster can be found throughout all the famous restaurants in Chicago. Don also has a new book out, which I actually have right here. Don said not to show it, but I'm going to show it anyways. So this is Don's new book, and you can download it. I'm going to go over this. This Don's new book, let me put it, Don is known as a man of 1,000 faces. I would like to personally thank Don for his dedication, for his talents in making this day possible. Don, can you please stand up? Now, we all have people we look up to while we're growing up. These people have formed our personalities to what we are today.